so today we're doing 11.7, which is dealing with the volume of spheres. So remember, volume deals with everything inside. So if I had a basketball, I'm looking inside of that shape. So how much would actually fill up inside of that shape? Or think of it like a tire, all the air inside of it, how would it fill up, or everything inside of that? So I'm dealing with a sphere or a ball, and we're gonna be finding the volume of that. Let's jump into it. So right now on my key points, the sphere volume here is actually going to be, the volume is going to equal 4/3 times pi times r cubed. Or you could think of it as well as putting the pi r cubed on top. So you could do 4, there we go, let me get my right here. So you could do it a different way. You could do 4 times pi times r cubed and then divide everything by 3. However you wanted to do it, it's the same thing, because I'm basically putting this over 1 and multiplying it across. So either way you could do it, it would work out, but literally all I'm doing is plugging in the radius to find that volume, okay? All right, so let's go and jump to our examples with this. All right, so right now example number 1, it wants me to find the volume of the figure below. So right now I have a sphere, so I'm doing 4 equals 4/3, and then I'm doing pi r cubed. Now remember, I told you you could just multiply 4 times everything and then divide it by 3, because that's the same thing as the fraction. So we're gonna go and look at that. So right now, if you look at my shape, all the way across is gonna be 30, which is gonna be my diameter. So I have to take half of that to get my radius. So I'm gonna do 4 times pi times 15 cubed, and then I'm gonna divide everything by 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. So control divide, 4 times pi times 15, and I'm gonna cube it. I'm going to divide everything by 3, and when I click enter, that's going to end up giving me 14,137.2, and that's going to be centimeters cubed. Remember, we're doing cubic units here. Everything is in cubic. Volume is cubed, 3 dimensions here, okay? All right, let's jump over to example number 2. All right, on example number 2, it says we need to find the circumference, or the circumference of a rubber ball is 13 centimeters, and we need to use this to find the volume. So I think we did this a couple of units back. Remember, circumference, if we actually draw that formula here, the circumference uses the radius as well, so 2 pi r. So I could actually use this formula to help me to actually solve for my radius, so I can plug it into my volume formula. So my circumference is 13. And so now to get the r by itself, I'm basically going to divide by 2 pi on both sides. So just so you know, this won't evenly divide out. So right now, this is the radius I'm actually going to plug into my formula here, okay? So now I'm going to take v is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed, and I'm actually just going to stick this in directly for the r. So I'm going to do 4/3 times pi times 13 over 2 pi, and I'm going to cube that, and that's going to end up giving me my formula. So your final answer should come out to be 37.10, and that's going to be centimeters cubed. So remember, we're doing everything in cubic units because I'm dealing with volume. So literally all I did was I used the circumference formula to find the radius, and then I plugged the radius into my volume formula. Let's jump over to example number 3. All right, on example number 3, it wants me to find the volume of a sphere with the diameter of 14 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my volume formula, so pi r cubed, and I'm going to plug in my radius. Remember, diameter is the distance all the way across my circle or my sphere, so half of that would be my radius. So I'm going to do 4/3 times pi times 7 squared. All I did was half the 14. So I'm going to do 4 times pi times 7, and I'm going to cube it, and I'm going to divide all that by 3. And so that should end up giving me 1,436.8, and I'm going to do inches cubed because I'm dealing with volume here. Yeah, it's a lot of volume, or a lot of inches that's actually going to go into that. Okay, let's jump over to our last example. All right, so on our last example, it wants me to find the volume of the figure below. So again, I have a sphere, so I'm going to use my volume of a sphere formula again. So 4/3, and I'm doing pi r cubed here. So right now, if you look, they actually given me the radius. So I'm going to plug that in for the radius. So I'm going to do 4/3 times pi times 24, and I'm going to cube it here. So 4 times pi times 24 cubed, and then I'm going to divide all that by 3. So your final total should come out to be 57,000 905.8, and that's going to be in meters cubed. Because remember, I'm dealing with cubic units when I'm coming to volume here, okay? So take this concept, take this formula, it's pretty simple when you look at it, and apply it to your practice first. Remember that practice is there to practice before you get to that skill check, so you don't have to do it multiple times. So do that practice, head over to your skill check and holler at me if you need any help. Good luck.